Increase durable damage. Increase durable damage. Increase durable damage. Increase durable damage. Monkey's paw. Increase durable damage. Increase durable
Why can't
damage.
you just buff us without nerfing us somewhere else? Or buffing the enemies to the point that the previous buffs are pointless? Well, this was a bleak week for Helldivers, and it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better anytime soon. I was going to finish making a video on how I was going to spice up the Galactic War, but just like Cybersand, I just can't sit here and not talk about the elephant in the room. So before I get to that, I'm just going to say it now. I'm not going to be nice or have a filter really at all. I think we've just about crossed that line where being nice is pointless because they don't listen to us if we're nice or mean anyway, so what's the point of trying to be nice? I don't want to be so pessimistic, but I think Arrowhead is finally taking the wind out of my sails for this game, and my energy to be nice and professional about Arrowhead is about the same that I have to play Helldivers lately. Almost non-existent. So if this isn't your cup of tea, I'm sorry. I'd like to be more positive. The next Helldivers video will be, but this one is not. And before some brown nose decides to write me off as a hater, let me shoot that down before you can even type it. I used to play this game every single day, and was the first thing I did coming home from my factory job because I loved this game, and I knew it was going to be a generational success. I was always asking my friends to play this game with me and would drop anything I was doing to get on Helldivers 2 if there was even a whisper that my friends were feeling like playing it. I even bought the Super Citizen Edition to show my support for the game. I didn't even care what was in that damn thing. And honestly, at the time, even if there wasn't anything in it, I just bought it so I could give them more support so they can make the best game ever. Arrowhead has been moving heaven, hell, and earth to make sure they do the exact opposite at every single twist and turn, regardless of the community backlash, and act like they can do no wrong. Because if they actually opened their eyes for more than 2 seconds and turned off their egos, they'd see they're shooting themselves in the foot. Though lately, it would be more accurate to say in the face. But YouTube might not like that, but I'm not censoring that, so whatever. They have a generational success, but they're constantly snatching defeat from the jaws of victory and never learning. So let's start at the beginning and talk about where this all kicked off. So to the surprise of absolutely everyone, we finally, after 2 years, have gotten new mechs. It was beautiful. The grass was green again, the world was healing, and Helldivers 2 was finally going to start moving in the right direction. Until it was revealed that the 2 mechs were going to be released in the new war bond and not as an MO reward like the last 2 was. Awesome. I'm sure 0 players who asked for new mechs to be put in war bonds are so happy right now. I'm sure the player base is very happy that the only time we get anything new, fixed, or buffed, it will only be whenever there is a war bond to sell, right? Wow. Oh, wow, looks like that's not the case. Oh man, who would have thought players wouldn't like that the only time they add content to certain parts of the game, fix long-standing bugs, or buff terrible weapons or stratagems would be the only time they want to make money off of it. Is that seriously the direction that this game is heading? Where we can expect nothing to get better unless they want to make money off of it? And it doesn't even get better anyways. Anytime Narrowhead decides that we're worthy to even get the most bare minimum of buffs, they go ahead and game-wide buff all the enemies so that our buffs don't actually do anything, or the enemies just come out of it way stronger than they were before. The monkey's paw isn't curling anymore. It's pushed through its own hand and is scratching its own knuckles now. This shit has to stop before it gets to the point where anytime we see that we're getting buffs, it's expected that the enemies will too. It's pointless, it's redundant, it's ass backwards. And now we get to the AMA, or Ask Me Anything, that will crush whatever hope you had for the game if you're not a simple-minded slop enjoyer. So, Pilestead did a surprise AMA in the unfiltered Reddit for Helldivers, which I have to say, it's brave of him to throw himself to the lions. But with the responses he gave to the few questions he answered, it would have just been better for the community if he didn't do it at all. Because basically, everything the average player would have want was met with either no, not on our radar, vague posting, or future posting, which how long have we been dealing with that? or just made no sense to begin with. Hey, do we have armor customization, transmog, or weapon customization? No, and don't expect more customization options anytime soon. Why mechs in a war bond? Why not mech customization? You know, the thing we've only been wanting since we got the first one. So he says it's variations on existing equipment while also not giving us modular mechs because it would break the game, but hackers are putting epochs and shit as replacements for standard mech weapons. Though all I can give you for that is a trust me, bro, because I'm not even fucking joking. I spent an hour looking for it. I cannot find that YouTube video again where some guy was walking around in a, I'm pretty sure it was a squid city with epochs for replacements for the mech arms. And they worked. It worked perfectly fine. There was no lagging, no stuttering. Everything was dying. It might as well have just been a new mech. The fucking Epoch mech update. But that's not mentioning the absolute abominations hackers are making by putting different parts of enemies on a single fully operational enemy. So, cool. Our mechs and even the fucking enemies are modular, but this isn't something we're gonna expand on or work with because it would break the game. And if it's just a variation, why do we still 2 years, we don't have mech customization? If it's just a plain and simple swapping of arms. This guy here even calls him out on it. It's like he's giving an excuse, but not thinking about the implications of it. Nobody who knows what's good for them will be mad if you remove one of the mechs. Well, I guess 3 of them now, because we got 2 of them. But that's probably not happening because they're in a war bond and not MO rewards. But that's a tangent of its own. And just remove the 3 and let us change the parts of the 1 mech. You're not pigeonholed into not doing that. I don't know why you think you are, but you aren't. So stop saying that. We are literally asking for this. And it has not changed in that sense that you got 2 new mechs in a war bond that nobody asked for them to be in. Hey, can we get like any progression like at all? No, we're too busy making new things to do anything with the old stuff. And so the cycle continues from there, and that's a problem. They can't just stop and fix what's broken or improve on what's already in the game because they're too focused on making, and yes, I said that with quotation marks, new things that will be released with easy to find bugs that will somehow, with the grace of God, slip under the blind eyes of Narrowhead and take an entire fucking year to be fixed, or it will be so underwhelming that it might as well have not exist because of their antagonistic use of realism and space magic for why it can't have a place outside of the growing trash pile of equipment. And the worst part is that the cycle will never stop because they gotta prioritize new content. It's a doomed cycle that will kill this game, but at this rate, it's probably not even at the top of the list of things that will kill this game. This is completely preventable, by the way. They sold 20 million copies by January this year. I don't know, man. I'm not that good at math. I'm not a mathematician. And most of all, I'm not a calculator. But, I don't know. Selling a $40 game 20 million times is too big of a number of money to generate from game sales alone to be having this many problems for this long. As for the sample part Avery brought up, I actually made a video on how to solve that permanently. You should go watch that and ignore that this is a shameless plug. Will we ever get stratagem rewards for major orders again? Yes, but this isn't a priority, and we didn't decide to stop doing it. We just decided to not do it for an entire fucking year, and instead of giving you these new mechs in the form of major orders like we did the last 2, we decided it would be better to put them in a war bond like nobody asked for. Like, holy shit, man. Read the room. And that was it. 4 questions. Given either no or vague answers saying that something will be done with a certain topic in the future. Pilestead. I hope I pronounced your name right, by the way. We are 2 years into the game. We're 2 years into the game now. And the things that people have been asking for haven't been touched in a year at least. Next year's? Be so fucking real with me right now. How much longer do you think you have before the people who love your game and wanted to be the best game of this decade decide they've had enough, jump ship, and your game crashes and burns. We are 2 years. Most features haven't been updated, revamped, or gotten an addition in a full year. All of our new stuff is still behind paid or grinded out war bonds because, God forbid, we got another MO reward that isn't medals. Mechs being in war bonds pretty much guarantees whenever we get new ship modules, they're going to be a war bond too. Because the last time we got a mech was May of 2024. Our last ship module was July 2024. You have shot down any hope we have had for anything we have been asking for 2 years to ever be put in the game or updated in the near future, if at all. Next year's? At this rate, I can't even see this game lasting by the end of this one with these constant terrible decisions and equal balancing decisions. Oh, and we have to talk about that. Hey, Editing Rats here. This video is already looking like it's gonna take longer than I would like it to be, so I'm just gonna give you the TLDR and we can get to the final thoughts of the video. So, TLDR, Arrowhead did the bare minimum and fixed the flesh mob moving through the environment bug after a year. Mech buffs are hardly worth calling mid. Arrowhead is huffing their own farts, buffing durable damage on the scavengers and hive lords. They buffed the front armor of hive guards to heavy despite it being a common bug, while also not giving us any heavy armor on vehicles. They reduced the Devastator shield armor from indestructible to heavy the second we get a mech with a shield, and buffed some bots durable damage despite them saying they think they do enough, while also ignoring they can destroy your mech before it even touches the ground. Sure, they undid the Hive Guard buff, but that never should have made it into live, and the fact they thought it should speaks volumes about how far the disconnect between player and dev actually is, because how long until they would have done the same to Devastators? So, I've done a whole lot of complaining, so allow me the chance to do something a bit more productive. I have a few questions for Pilestead the next time he comes back, because apparently he will, but I'm not making a Reddit account because I don't want to gain a few 100 pounds in an instant to ask questions that will probably not be answered. So I would ask somebody, passes them on the next time he comes back. Number 1, who decides what gets a higher priority to be worked on? And why does new content get a higher priority when the newest content brings bugs and problems that take a long time to be fixed? Speaking of bugs, number 2. Why do you, when you're not obsessed with new content, take a long time to fix bugs? And when you do fix the bugs that get fixed have a busted priority. The biggest example I can remember is the flying factory strider bug that makes them fly around when they die. The bug where people could drop the ammo backpack while using it at the same time to get the resupply without using a charge. And flesh mobs being able to move through the environment to kill you from below or through walls. Why did you fix the harmless, silly factory strider bug when, for probably a few months at this point, flesh mobs have been running through the map to kill us through walls and floors? Flesh mobs have been doing this for a fucking year, and it's not only not a secret they're doing this, but it's not a rare bug. I don't know how long the ammo backpack bug has been a thing people have known about, but it can't have been very long after, because almost as soon as I heard about it from Buzz Lightyear, it got fixed. Why do you prioritize bugs that are funny or benefit the players in a way that it wasn't intended, but bugs that hinder the player take almost a year before it gets fixed? On the topic of changing things that benefit the player, why did you revert the buff the grenade launcher got a month after you did it? The buff was out of nowhere, because I don't think I've ever heard anybody say the grenade launcher needed a buff, but it was nice. It was a nice buff. You could deal with certain enemies in another way. You would think that, oh yeah, I have another, support weapon that I can use to deal with a heavy enemy, or maybe deal with a medium enemy a lot easier. Who wouldn't like that, right? Then a couple people say that it's too strong, so you revert it a month later. Who are these people that you listen to more than the majority of your player base? Everybody's always talking about most of the weapons are dog shit and are useless because they're light pen, or for some reason you just hate the weapon and it never gets buffed or get an actual usage. But a few people say the grenade launcher is too strong now, and in about 30 days you change it back. It seriously looks like anybody who wants a weapon nerfed, you take their feedback and ignore anyone else until you get tired of hearing about it. You could say that's not the case, but your actions show a different story. My last and most burning question is this: why are you so scared to actually buff us or let us have something good? Every single time we get something, it has to be grounded in reality, while every time our enemies get something, it's in sci-fi fantasy and lives and breathes space magic. You claim it's unrealistic for our flag to give us a buff of any kind that the players actually want. That's reasonable, by the way. That's a key word, reasonable. But like I said in my last Helldivers video, the Borgs can make a stupid ass hand motion and now the bots move faster, and that's realistic? No, that's space magic. But you don't have a problem with that. We destroy the heads of bugs, but they can still call for reinforcements. Yep, that's pretty realistic and not space magic. The worst part is whenever you give us a buff, you also buff the enemies. What is the point of buffing us if you're going to make the enemies have a counter buff? The entire point of buffing something is because it's underwhelming. So can we please, for one single buff to the players, just put down the monkey's paw? Why are you so petrified of the idea of us being strong? Why do you use terms like realism and space magic like you have any kind of balance philosophy, but you only use those against the players? And that was it. That's all I have to ask for the devs. Sorry for the doom and gloom video. I'm just tired of these devs constantly crashing this game into the ground whenever they see the opportunity and only deviate from their norm whenever they get rightfully shit on. It gets draining when the devs who made a game you love are constantly making player unfriendly changes, and it takes a hit to their optics for them to even listen to you. I got another video coming up on how I think we can spice up the Galactic War for all players of all skill and all game, or all time in game. Hopefully this video didn't put you off from the rest of my future content, so I hope that whenever that video comes out, I can see you there. And if I do see you there, I'll see you when I see you.
Oh, you playing Minecraft? I like it, cut G.